Welcome to the Cybersky, another episode of Guess What Came in the Mail, the Rubik's Cube edition. Now, those of you who follow the channel know that I'm just slightly obsessed with Rubik's Cubes. Now, I'm not a speed cuber. I don't go for solving them quickly. I just like to solve various different kinds of puzzles. So right now I'm perfecting my technique for the 7x7. I've got the center solved right here. I've got to do my edges and then I'll be able to finish. And, I like to solve different shape cubes, pyramids. I haven't gotten to the octagonal shaped ones yet, but I have done the 2x2, the 3x3, 4x4, 5x5, 6x6, 7x7. I haven't gone past 7 yet. And I also experiment with oddly shaped cubes, such as the 2x3x3 and the 2x2x3. Those are slightly different shape. Also the 1x3x3, which is kind of interesting as well. And I have solved the X cube. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so that you can be notified when I upload my solution tutorials for the X cube and the 4x4 and the 5x5, etc. Right now, today, we're going to talk about what came in the mail. And the first thing that came in the mail, guess what came in the mail, is the Z cube, the 1x2x2 cube. Now, at first, when you get into cubing and you learn something like the 3x3, you think that, once I get another cube, if it's a smaller one, it's going to be easier. Like a 2x2 should be easier than a 3x3. And that could make sense in some situations. However, once you change the dimensions, this is not a 2x2. This is a 2x2x1. So we're going to unbox that in a minute. Also, what came in the mail today is a Rubik's Cube collaboration with Hasbro Gaming, the Crystal Cube. Now, it doesn't say Crystal Cube anywhere on this packaging, but I remember when I ordered it, that's what was in the description. It just basically says Rubik's Cube, ages 8 and up. But it's got an advertisement on the back for You Can Do the Cube, Rubik's Cube Solutions. You can check those out at Rubiks.com. And yeah, this comes with a display stand and we're going to open it. It's translucent. We're going to run some light through it so we can experience that. And lastly, guess what came in the mail? Wow, this is a big one. I've got a whole collection. There's 4 cubes in this package from Roxenda. It's a Speedcube set. And it comes with a 2x2, a 3x3, a 4x4, and a 5x5, all Roxenda Speedcube. So we're going to take a look at that. But before we unbox these beauties, please smash that like button for the algorithm. Helps out the channel. Be sure to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/letslearnsomething. So we're going to start off with the Z cube, the 1x1x2 cube. Let me let you look at the packaging. Pretty simple. All right, it's got some things in different languages on the side, but it says here black, white, transparent, luminous. It's not checked off, so but I can see that it looks like a white one inside. So let's see. Box open. Interesting texture. Throw that over there. The Z cube, and it's got a Z. Now, I don't know if the camera can pick up on this, but the stickers are a very interesting texture. I don't know. Maybe the yellow side you might be able to see. Maybe the green. But it's got an interesting texture. It's not a typical smooth, shiny sticker. It almost looks like it has pixels. It's got some kind of cross threading on the sticker. Anyway, this is a 1x2x2, right? And you can turn it this way, right? And you can turn it this way. And of course, you can just rotate it. That doesn't really do much. So you would think this would be very easy to solve, but I'm going to mix it up real quick and just see what happens. I'm just doing some turns. Let's see. I don't know. I just solved it by accident. No, I didn't solve it, but I got the white face back again. Oh, it's hard to scramble it. Wow. Look, I start scrambling and before you know it, no matter what I do, it's either going to be 2 whites and 2 yellows, or if I flip it, it's still going to be, if I go like that, it's solved again. This is interesting. It's a cube that's kind of, you try to shuffle it and it solves itself. Okay. I wanted to see what would happen. with this cube, but I'm just randomly doing twists and turns. There's no point in doing a double turn because 1, 2, you're back where you started. So let's do single turn. Yeah, okay. Here's interesting. I've got the white face solved, the yellow face solved. It's a little bit of a bubble in my sticker. Let me smooth that out. Yeah, I would have preferred stickerless, but I got a very good price for this, so I don't mind. You got the yellow face, but the edges are not solved. So it's not only about solving the yellow and white faces. Let's see if I can solve those edges real quick. So let's see. Seems like I've got the green here and the green and the blue and blue opposite on the same thing. So if I rotate like this, it's not going to much change. So now in order to get one green on this side so that it will match up the other green, I'm going to have to turn the cube this way, and that's going to, of course, mess up my yellow and white face. But now when I flip, boom, I got the greens and I got the blues matching, but of course the red and oranges, but they're not in the same boat. They're actually opposite, because if you notice, red and orange, orange and red. So that means all I have to do is flip it. And when I flip it, I'm going to obviously match up the yellow and white faces. So I flip it. Now I've got orange, blue, red, green, and I've re-solved this way. So I have to say this is much, much easier. It's almost a challenge to not solve it, and it's a challenge to try to scramble it in a way that it's the most scrambled of all. And I'd like to do the algorithms and the calculations to find out how many possible combinations of scrambles there are, because we know that there's 43 plus quintillion possible cases on a Rubik's Cube like this. So how many are there on here? Of course, the 2x2 Rubik's Cube has less combinations, and the 4x4 would have more, and the 5x5 would have more, etc. Being that this is a 1 by 2 by 2, I wonder, is it going to have very few possible scrambles, probably less than 100. We'll see. I'm going to look into the math on that. Of course, we're going to need to use some factorials for that. If we were to break this apart, there will be 4 possible places to put each piece, and there would be multiple different directions that it could be placed, that it could be placed back in. I'm not going to break it apart because I don't know how to put it back together, and you might not be supposed to break these apart. It's got some kind of hinge mechanism in there. Let me see if I stretch it a little. Can you see through? A little bit this way, a little bit. All right. Well, anyway, that was cool. It feels good in your hand. It turns very nicely. And this is just fun. If you're a cubing enthusiast and you already can solve the 2x2 or the 3x3, and you're looking for some different combinations and some unusual puzzles, you might want to check out the Z Cube. So leave your comments below how many different possible combinations you think this could have. Remember, each part, let's examine it, would have 1, 2, 3, and then the back of that 4. So each one of these has 4 stickers, and they're all corners. Okay, so let me know your thoughts on the math on how many combinations. Now we know that 43 quintillion for this one because it is a classic 3x3 Rubik's Cube. But the reason I ordered it is because it's translucent, and I thought that would be really neat. Look at the colors shining through it. So they've got some tape on the box. Let me rip this off, and we'll unbox it for you right here on Guess What Came in the Mail. Got one side off, get the other side off. Actually, little piece of information while you're waiting for me to get this tape off, I actually saved the boxes to all my cubes that I purchased, just in case one day I want to put them all back in the boxes for some reason. And I don't know why I do that, maybe for collectorability or memorabilia, but I actually use my cubes. I don't keep them in pristine condition. I solve them, I carry them around, I use them. So I don't know if they're going to retain any kind of collector's value, but who knows? A lot of toys that I've collected over the years have gone up in value. And just in case, I'll be careful with this. So first we've got the stand, and it says Rubiks. I guess this side is the front because it's shiny metallic, right? It's like a silver color. And then you can see it if I tilt it, see that shine. And then these two sides are translucent. You can just see right through them. So I'll put it like that. And now let's remove the cube from the box. Some kind of tape or string on it. Don't want to break the cube. Aha, that's how they keep it in there with this little string. This little piece of plastic. elastic string. See what I'm doing? Yeah, these little strings were holding it in. All right. So, So now we see all sides of it. We've got the white face, which is kind of clear, which is translucent, has the Rubik's Cube logo. And this logo says Rubiks.com. So different cubes sometimes have different logos from Rubik's Cube. All right. And then we've got the green, red, blue. It's kind of an aqua blue, a very light color blue, and yellow. And so here we go. I'm going to give it a little spin. Oh, is there tape on it? This side doesn't want to turn. This side turns. Okay. This side is stuck. Perhaps there's some tape that came with it holding it together. Looking for something. No. Still not able to turn it. Oh, maybe just, oh, there it is. It's hard to see because Scotch tape is clear and the pieces are clear. But there is some tape holding this, preventing it from turning. Just have to pull it off. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that will allow it to turn now. There we go. Okay. Yes. So it's just two moves. It's not super fluid and smooth. It's not super crunchy either. It's not as crunchy as the original Rubik's brand, traditional cube. It is a Rubik's brand, but let's do one of these. There's no magnets. It just feels like it's stiff because it's brand new. There is some flexibility. I do feel it stretching. You can see. So a regular Rubik's Cube will not pull apart this much, right? So there is some flexibility. It does look like you can take it apart, but I'm not sure I want to. Of course, it sits on the little stand like that. It's not going to be as flexible and smooth as this off-brand Speedcube that I have that I purchased from the dollar store, but it's still pretty good. This is a little smoother. All right. Those. All right. Let's do it on here now. Yeah, it's kind of, it doesn't cut corners that well. Let me show you the sound of it. And finally, let's just scramble it up completely. Just give it some turns, different twists, different combinations of moves, but then turn the angle and change it. Do it again on this side. Do it upside down. Do it this way. Just trying to get some turns. Officially, you're supposed to scramble a cube 25 times. But you're also not supposed to look at it. And either someone, to really be fair, someone else should scramble it for you, or you have a little machine or your computer scrambles it. Let's see. All right, so I think I've put it pretty mixed up. It's a nice looking cube. I really like the look of it. Looks beautiful. I'm going to actually turn on my flashlight from my phone, hit it with some light and see what that looks like. But I really like the colors. That is what I bought it for. I bought it for the style. I have over 70 3x3 cubes. I don't need another one. Shine some light through it. Oh, can't see too much through it. It doesn't shine through that much, but you can see a little bit on the yellow on the bottom. You know, a little bit like that. See? So it's interesting. Okay, if I had a stronger light, it might shine through a little better, but keep in mind that I've got the studio lights pointing at the cube, so it's kind of balancing out whatever light I'm shining through it. But I'll just put it down like that for a minute. Yeah, so there you go. It's a nice little cube. Put it on the stand. I like it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And now to solve. Wow, looking at it to solve is different because the colors are like this light pastel. It's a really nice color in terms of artistically, but it's not what I'm used to looking at. I'm used to seeing these bright, clear, contrasting red, green, blue, yellow, you know. So now I'm going to see if it's more challenging to solve this. There really isn't a white side. It's like a clear, translucent side. But let's see. All right. My eyes are just adjusting to it. Trying to be like, oh yeah, that's what it looks like. All right. Ready? I'm not going to be going for speed, but just to make it look like I am. I'm going to do this. Ready? And Wait. I have to look one more time. Okay. And go. And of course, I'm using a beginner method, one that I developed from several other methods, and I call it the Cybersky method. And I will be doing a video on that. So please come back another time and check out my video on the Cybersky method. Oh, wow, it really is hard to, because my eye is like, where's the white? But I'm not looking at white, I'm looking at all these other colors. Wow, it is a little bit more challenging. That's really interesting. Okay. Boom. All right, I've got the clear cross. See, that's a clear cross solved, but you can kind of see through this color to a color that's underneath, so it doesn't even look clear as I hold it up to the camera. But that is interesting. All right, let's go for the corners. So we've got green and red. Boom, 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 one corner. Oh, wow, aqua and orange. It's a nice color. Corner. Oh, it's wrong. See, it is more challenging. We'll give you that. It's slowing me down. The color differences is really making me take a long look to really know, is that really the color I'm looking at? Interesting. And that's corner. So I'm not using CFOP or any speed cubing method. The Cybersky method is a beginner method. It's not one I designed for speed. Let's just do the Patrick Bossier algorithm for the second layer. Let's do this one. Okay. So now I got to grab it because it's getting a little sticky, a little challenging to turn here. A little crunchy, as you say in Rubik's Cube lingo. Okay, am I done with second layer? I think I'm done with second layer. Okay, let's go for third layer. Okay, right, let's go. Let's get a fish going. I got the fish. That's what the fish looks like for those on the translucent cubes. It looked like on camera that this one's not yellow, but it is. I don't know if you can see that. And then one more time. And now we've got the yellow face. And now I just need that last layer. Isn't it pretty? It's really nice looking cube. So let's say I do have two that match, luckily. So now I can go back to the beginner method. I'm sure I could do some better finger tricks here. Do need to work on that. Oh, I hate when this happens. All right. I accept it though. We'll just have to do it twice. So I got a situation where there was headlights on every side of the cube. So I couldn't do my finishing move until I solved that part, took care of that. That just means that you have to do this twice. If I didn't make any mistakes, it should be done. Boom. And I'm done. And give it a little twirl. Whee. So it's really nice. One last look at all the colors. I think this is my favorite side, is the aqua blue side. It's one of my favorite colors. What do you guys think? Do you like the cube? It's getting it's actually loosened up just from me solving it once. It's a little smoother. And I can tell if I break it in, if I keep using it for a while, and especially if I take it to work and let my students play with it, it's going to get loose. I'm trying to see if there's a screw. There are screws. So I believe you can, if you can get off the center piece. See, every center has a little Phillips head screw in there. So you can adjust it to your preferences and your likes. I know this is the logo side, but I think I like the blue and red side to be facing forward. I like that better. Let's see, maybe like that. There we go. That's it. All right. So that again is the Rubik's Cube, and it's a collaboration with Hasbro. All right. It shows copyright information 2018. So this came out in 2018. Of course, the Rubik's Cube itself, copyright 1974. And it was licensed. So this was licensed before Rubiks recently sold their brand to the company that makes Etch-a-Sketch and other toys. If you want to learn more about the history of the Rubik's Cube and how it was invented, why it was invented, it wasn't intended originally to be a toy. You can watch my series called The Complete History of Rubik's Cube, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. It's a long history. So Part 1 covers 1974 through like 81, 82, and then Part 2 picks up from there, brings it into the 90s and so on. And it goes all the way up to 2021. And of course, we're not finished with 2022, so I'm not going to make any more to that series, but possibly next year in 2023, maybe I'll go in and I'll do a part 5 to cover new stuff that's happened since the company was sold. And there's a lot of new things going on in the world of Rubik's Cube, and there might be a couple new world records by then. So I'll do the complete history of Rubik's Cube part 5, covering from like 2021 to 2022. But next up on Guess What Came in the Mail, put that right there. We've got our Z Cube, we've got the Crystal Cube, is the Roxenda Speedcube set. The box is a little bit beaten up because it got damage in shipping. So I'm not going to worry too much about this box. Just rip it open. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. Looks like it's got something extra in there. I don't know. Look, what is this? Wow, I got a little extra toy that came in the box. It says "Play Me." This is a surprise to me. I didn't even know this was coming in there. That's really interesting. All right, it's got some different things on it. So we'll check out that and see what that is. We've got a 2x2. All right. We've got a 3x3. Put the logo facing forward. Here we go. Give the company a little shout out. There's their logo. And we've got the 4x4. There we go, 4x4. Right there. And 5x5. To move this guy over a little bit. Okay, let's turn it different side. Let's see. Orange, red. Let's make it look a little more colorful. Blue, yellow. Yeah, there we go. And there's something in the box. Whoa. Secret tutorial for cubes. This looks impressive. Guys, this is a really thick booklet. This is like, I'm gonna tell you how many pages this is. See if it has page numbers. 121 pages. Holy crap, it's a little book. Look at that, it's got a spine. It's got so many pages, got a spine. Some QI toys, secret tutorial for cubes for those who loves cubing. I loves cubing. Do you loves cubing too? It says Guangdong Kimu Mofungo Science and Technology Industrial Company Limited. Okay, that's really cool. Take a look at that. So that might be for the image when I do a thumbnail later. Okay, associate editor, Hugh Yafang, associate editor, Homeboy Design, proofreaders. Okay, I'm not going to read all of those names. All right, so we've got brand introduction, and then we have the 3x3 cube entry tutorial. Very interesting. This is a little extra. I didn't even know you guys were going to get this today. But it's a 3x3 tutorial. Solve the white cross at the bottom. Let's see what their technique is. Then solve the 4 corner pieces on the bottom layer. Right, okay. Then it says solve 4 edge pieces in the middle layer. That's the same as the beginner, thing that I just did. And then orientation of the yellow edge pieces, orientation of the corner, the top face, and then you've got permutation of the yellow corners on the top layer, and then permutation of the edges on the top layer. That's a basic beginner tutorial. Now, it's got an algorithms tutorial though, with some extra things on it. I don't know if you guys can pick this up with the lighting in here, but it's really interesting. And I didn't know this was coming. They just threw this in the box. I got F2L. Oh, good. I'm working on F2L. So that's nice to have like some diagrams. OLL, PLL. There's the OLL. Hang on. F2L, PLL, OLL, but it's got a lot of stuff. Then it's got the 2x2 cube entry tutorial. Same thing as the 3x3, but with the 2x2. And then it's got the 4x4, 2 pages later. And then it's got, wow, this is really exciting. I mean, I don't need these tutorials. I know how to solve these, but it is a helpful tool for teaching. I could actually scan this and post it online or print it, for my students, print out little black and white copies for them to look at to work on their 5x5s and stuff. But they probably go online and use YouTube videos. But interestingly, some of my students would rather get a booklet. They like the modality of seeing the diagrams, not having anything moving on screen in front of them, and just thinking about, okay, they're saying turn that way. And then they make the move on their cube. And so they have these little blue booklets from You Can Do the Cube that I give them, and they like that. Other people prefer to watch the video tutorial. So they have a choice. Some of them have a computer in front of them with headphones and a tutorial. Some of them use a booklet. So here's another booklet. Now I don't have 6x6x6 cube entry tutorial. I don't have a method like that written out. And then a 7x7. I don't have that written out either. So what else do they got? I'm halfway through and we're done. Mega Minx entry tutorial. Wow, this is a lot of information. It's got other puzzles all the way throughout. Mega Minx. Wow, that's long. What's this one called? Step 11. Wow, there's a lot of steps. The Skewb. SKEWB. Speedcube tutorial. And they've got the Pyraminx tutorial. The Ivy Cube. Wow, there's a lot of different cubes here. That's cool. Maybe, oh, the Mirror Cube. One of my students has the Mirror Cube and it's really interesting. That's the one that has all the same color. They're all mirrored pieces, right? And then when you scramble it, it becomes misshaped because the pieces are different sizes. Pieces are not all the same size. So when you scramble it, it becomes like this and you got to make it back to flat again. So it's not about solving the colors. It's about, wow. And they're showing you, so they actually show you an equivalent to the 3x3, like this state here on the regular cube, 3x3 is equivalent to that state on this cube, on the Mirror Cube. Interesting. All right, what other things do they have here? The SQ1 entry tutorial, the Master Morphix Cube. Wow, this is just great. And then they do have a 2x3x3. Oh, okay. I was telling you before. Let's see. The 2x3x3 tutorial. That's important. And then do they have a 3x3? I wonder if they have one for this guy. Let's see. Wow, some more different kinds of pyramidic and gear spheres tutorial. That's where the gears click together, right? This is great. So thank you for all this free stuff. There's about 10 more puzzles in here. And then they have recommendations. Of course, these are all the cubes that they make and sell. Okay, let's put that right there. Put this one right here. Now, the unboxing is incomplete until we remove the plastic. So we're going to start with the 2x2 cube, which I have one or two of these from a dollar store. Of course, I have the original from Rubiks. Nobody really likes turning those because they're so hard to turn. People just buy them to support Rubiks because that's the inventor of the cube. Wow, this is super loose. Oh my God, it's so smooth. Wow. It goes, it doesn't go, it goes, that's it. Slides. See that? Wow, this is nice. I'm totally mixing it up right now. Let's just scramble this. Okay. That's really nice. Let me do a little, this is nice. It's nice to try this. Nice. Okay, so let's put that down. Now let's go for the 3x3. I hope it's just as smooth. Kids are going to really want to use this. When my students come into the classroom, I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, middle school in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. When they come in, you know, I have about 24 Rubiks brand Rubik's cubes, the old, you know, crunchy ones. And, you know, and then I have a few Speedcubes that I bought either, you know, ordered online like these, or some just from a dollar store, and they're off brand, but they're smoother than the Rubiks brand. And the kids come in the room and they're like, Ms. Mercy, can I use your Speedcube? Do you have a Speedcube? They want the looser ones because, of course, they feel a lot better. So let's give this a turn. Oh, goodness, you don't understand. Wow. Okay. So before now, I didn't have a favorite cube. I have to admit, this feels so good. It's better than any cube I've done this with. Wow, this is crazy. I have to actually spin it lightly because it's so easy to overturn because it's so smooth. I'm trying to see if there's magnets. It doesn't feel like there's magnets, but there is something stretchy that when you pull it, now see how flexible this cube is, much more than the other one. You can even see the inner mechanics of how the cube is put together. I'm trying to turn it at an angle that you guys can really see in there. But yeah, this is great. All right, we'll scramble this one and we'll come back later and solve them all. well. We'll solve the 2x2 and the 3x3. It would take me quite a while. I'm not fast with the 4x4 and the 5x5. I will film myself solving that one day, solving those just for the channel. But when I do that, I will do a time lapse so that you don't have to stay there for hours while I'm figuring it out. But let's open the 4x4 and the 5x5, and then we'll be done for today. I guess I can put this in front of the box right there. Yes, the 4x4 I learned on is a Rubiks brand crunchy 4x4. This one, oh, this is nice. It's just as smooth as the 3x3. Usually as you get higher, they would get more clunky. You get harder to turn. The 5x5 Rubiks brand and even the X Cube, you gotta, it's really hard to turn sometimes. This is pretty good. Yeah. It was pretty good. I'm curious. I do want to look at that. These don't feel like they have magnets, but maybe they do. They feel so smooth. I don't know. Let's see how well they cut corners. Let's see that corner right there. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's pretty smooth. How about if I go the other way? Yeah. Okay, so you can cut that way, but not as much this way. All right. It's got some give though. All right. Should I mix it up completely? I don't know. I'm afraid to. I think I'll leave that one like that. I don't have to solve it right away. Let's go to the 5x5. Again, I will film myself solving the 5x5 in the future. So subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when that drops. But right now, it will take me about 2.5 hours. So I'm not going to do it right now. Let's do a little roo-roo. Yeah, this one, yeah, it's got more pieces, so it's easier for them to get misaligned the bigger your cube. So now it's not only about cutting corners, but even sometimes the middle pieces here will be slightly misaligned like that, right? And then you're trying to turn, but they're not, they're like hitting the jagged edges. So it's hard sometimes to get it up. So I think I'm going to actually mix this one up. I don't know. Should I? I don't know. Now I'll leave it solved for now. Okay. So there we have it. That's what came in the mail today. I'm really excited about these cubes. I can't wait to bring this one to work and show it to the kids. Of course, they're going to want to use my 2x2 and 3x3 because they're smooth. There are a couple of students who do the 4x4 and a 5x5 in my school. There's some really good cubers in the school now. I remember when I first introduced Rubik's cubing to the school about 2000, what, maybe 14, 15, around then. There was really only one student or two students the first year or two that already were into cubing and they could solve it, you know, and they were very helpful to me as leaders in the class who could help others. But most kids were like, what's the big deal about cubing? But since then I have been promoting and teaching it. And now there's, you know, a good amount of students who can solve it. Maybe 20, 25 kids now can solve it out of the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And there's other kids who can solve it using the booklet or watching the tutorial. So they've gone through it. They understand how it works now, but they haven't memorized all the algorithms so they can do it without looking at the book or without help. So yeah, it's become more popular in the school. I think we might have to order some stack mats for next year so that we can have competitions and really like maybe host a Rubik's Cube competition in the school next year. Well, let me know in the comments what you think. What's your favorite brand of Speedcube? Which one, you know, is the smoothest? Which one do you like personally better? And what are the reasons? I'm going to end off by solving the 2x2 and then 3x3. And then my co-host over here, I don't know if you saw Alpha, he's going to do a little dance. Stay tuned for Alpha at the end. And then we'll get on out of here for this week. So I'm starting. Let's get this cube solved. Oops. Yeah. No, that one goes there. So we're gonna. All right. So I got layer one solved, as you can see. All right, top layer. Now I'm flip it over, and I basically use the same technique on this cube as I do with the 3x3, but just without the centers, of course, as you guys can imagine. So let's, I'm not the best, fastest, bestest cube solver. I've got the yellow face. And now let's see, one corner, two corner. Ah, there we go. I got the green side and yellow face. So it's really just about swapping these two pieces. When you do a 2x2, you get everything solved except those last two pieces, and they're in the wrong side. So now you have to do an algorithm to get them to swap. I'm going to attempt to do that, and hopefully I'm successful. Yep, done. There we go. The 2x2, and now I'll just solve this 3x3 as quickly as I can. I'm not going to put my hands on the thing and pretend there's a timer this time. I'm just going to knock it out. So let's get the size, and I will be learning the F2L method. So if you follow me, over the years, you'll see my Rubik's cubing will improve. Again, I'm not a speed cuber. I'm not obsessed with the speed. It takes me about 90 seconds to solve one of these. But I'm more interested in the technique and how the pieces move on the different cubes, and the 4x4 and the 5x5. At first, when I got them, I said, well, it's going to be the same as a 3x3 and just a little bit harder. It'll take a little longer, but it's not going to be a different concept. No, I was wrong. There's a completely different thing you have to do on that one, because it's got 4 pieces in the center and those pieces can move instead of the pieces being fixed where they don't move on the 3x3. So it's a totally different technique and strategy that you have to do for that. And some of the things are exactly the same as a 3x3, but then there's that one new thing, because it's an even number of pieces across and up and down in all directions. So that changes a key aspect of it. And if you don't know how to solve any of the cubes, that means nothing to you. But just know that when you get to the 4x4, you got to learn one new thing that wasn't there when you did the 3x3. Okay, I got the second layer solved. And then when you get to the 5x5, I thought, well, now I see you got to do the center, so it's different. But the 5x5 will just be a little hard, take me a little longer than the 4x4, but it's not going to be anything different. Nope. So I did a 5x5. I saw that I had to learn a different thing, because there's 3 pieces in the middle here instead of 2, instead of 1, right? And there's 9 in the center instead of 4. And that there's a couple of more parity issues and things that you have to do to deal with. Now, once I got to the 6x6 and the 7x7, that's when the little light bulb went off. And I said, oh, the 5x5 has something in common with the 3x3 because they're an odd number. That's totally different from the 4x4. And then the 6x6 is an even number. It has that same aspect that the 4x4 had, but with some more pieces. So I started to notice relationships between those, and those are the things that excite me. That's what I like about cubing, and that's what I'm into understanding, and that's why I learn more and more puzzles. When I moved up to the X cube, that's when I really found out that you have to know how to do a 5x5 and a 3x3 in order to do the X cube. Sorry, I got distracted. So now I'm going to get a little quieter because I got to concentrate. I'm in the last stage. I got the yellow face, and often make a mistake at this juncture. So let's see, did I do it right? Okay, I did not make a mistake, and I just have headlights, as you can see. So we'll just do that last little algorithm in the beginner method, and voila, we are finished. So look out for my upcoming video. See, when they're really loose and you try to spin them, sometimes that's how smooth it is. So if I try to hold it and spin it, the act of pushing it is actually turning the piece. So that shows you how nice and loose it is. Just touching the cube barely starts to, see it starting to turn right there. See that one? I don't know if you guys can see. There we go, and then it falls. Yeah, so that's a good thing for the cube, but it means you can't spin it. So like I was saying, I'm going to be doing a full tutorial on the Cybersky beginner method. I call it the Cybersky method. I basically started with the Patrick Beausser beginner method that's publicized and popularized by the You Can Do the Cube company and by Rubiks.com themselves. And you can find tutorials on that on YouTube. But I didn't like their first layer technique. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to teach the first layer differently, a little more intuitively. I'm going to teach strategies on how, if you have a piece on the bottom and you need to bring it to here, depending on which way it's facing, what's the way you can move it up. And then if there's a piece on the corner, whether it's down here, here, doesn't matter, and it goes here, first you rotate it to where it needs to go, and then how to move that up using one or two strategies. So I teach that instead of the method that they use in the book, which I think is called the daisy method, because you start on the bottom and you have the white pieces surrounding, like flower petals surrounding the center. So I think they call that the daisy method. And then you rotate them back up to the top, to the white side. That's the method they teach in the Patrick Bossier beginner method. But I changed that. And then I use the beginner method from the booklet for a second layer, right? And that's an algorithm that I think everyone knows and uses who does cubing. It's 8 steps, it's either UR, UF, UF, or UL, UF, UF. Basically clockwise or counterclockwise in different places. And then for the third layer, again, I differ. I don't really like the way the booklet presents 2 algorithms for 3 or 4 different cases. So one of my students, Zane, a few years ago, he pulled me aside, said, Mr. Cybersky, he's one of these students who really is good at the cube. He pulled me aside and he said, there's a faster way you could teach this. The students don't really need to know both of these algorithms. So there's fru rough, and then there's fur earth, or another way. And the book was saying, if you have this situation, turn the cube this way and do one algorithm. But if you have this other situation, turn it that way and do another algorithm. He showed me that you can just do the one algorithm, the fru rough, FRU, URF. So FRU, was it fru earth or fru rough? I think it's fru rough, FRU, RUF. You can do that algorithm for any situation and just turn the cube in different ways and point whatever yellow is showing you on that face in a different direction. So it's better to teach them, like, if you see this, turn it this way. If you see that, turn it that way, and just have to memorize one algorithm, which is 6 moves. So you don't have to now memorize 2 different algorithms. So that's the next place where my method, the Cybersky method, differs from the booklet, the Patrick Bossier beginner method, also known as just the beginner method. So I do a different first layer, I do a different third layer, and then the OLL and PLL, I do that the same. So there's no difference there, but slightly modified. So I call it the Cybersky method. And I think that it's easier to teach. And I think the way that I teach the first layer teaches you more about how the pieces get moved around. So it's less of, I don't understand what's going on, but the book says I'm supposed to turn the right face and then turn the up face. This is the up face, and just following the turns and not really looking at where the piece is going and how it's moving around. Because if you do that, when you learn first layer, you understand, I have a piece here and I need it here without mixing up anything else. This is what I should do. And if I have a corner piece down here and I need it on top, this is what I should, you can kind of see how it travels around the cube to the place where you want it to go. And also how you are putting back the rest of the cube the way it was. So that's why I prefer to use my method for the so the blue side, for the beginner method for the first layer. I think later when you get into advanced cubing and start to learn CFOP or doing a 4x4 or 5x5, that will come in handy. And I didn't realize that about the 3x3 until I did the 4x4 and the 5x5. Then I understood certain principles more about how the pieces move, because you really have to understand that in order to deal with parity, in order to create your centers, which you don't have to do on a 3x3. So that gave me some insights. And I said, you know what, I'm going to start teaching the first layer differently for the 3x3 for beginners, because they need to start thinking differently right away. I think that's an advantage and will help you later over just looking up what the book says and then making that turn and not understanding it and not being able to figure things out intuitively. Anyway, that's all for today. We're going to end off with Alpha Robot behind me. He's gonna do a little dance as we go out with the music. Thank you for watching. Make sure you leave a comment. If you didn't hit that like button, shame on you. Hit that like button and share this video with your friends and help the channel grow. Really appreciate you. See you next time. Hope you learned something. Take it away, Alpha.